Hi everyone, Atoluku Sunday here once again, and today we'll be looking at data cleaning. Now, what is data cleaning? Data cleaning is the process of removing inconsistencies in your data. For example, things or objects that you don't want in your data set. Sometimes this data could come in ways whereby a column designated for name could have number and even missing data. All these things are what we don't want in our data while when analyzing our data set. So without speaking much, I'll just go straight to what we have to do. So as you can see on this sheet here, we have empty rows here. Row 1 2 3, they are all empty. We don't want this header, we don't want anything here. We just want our data set. So what I'm going to do is this: I'll highlight these 3 rows and then right click. Once you right click, you click on delete. Now that is gone. Then also you go to this column, you see A and B are empty. You also go there, you right click and then you delete. Now those ones have been taken care of. Now the next thing I would want us to work on is removing duplicate values. Now you don't want to have data that the values are duplicated, so that should be one of the first things you should consider when cleaning your data. So what I'm going to do right away is this: I'll go and highlight this column, which is the primary key column. Now what do we mean by primary key? Primary key simply means unique identifier. So that's unique value you use in identifying the entire data set, the entire row within your data set. For example, if you look at this first row here, now we have an employee ID. It's a unique identifier for this person who is a male, and the department here. We'll be cleaning this up. So yeah, so the primary key is actually a unique identifier. That is what it all means. So for example, your account number is a unique identifier. Your NIN number is also a unique identifier. Your BVN is a unique identifier. Now that is all you should know for now. Yes, we have primary key and foreign keys, but then we clean on our primary key column. So I'm going to clean on this column, removing the duplicate. So what I'm going to do is this: I'll highlight this entire column, and then I'm going to apply conditional formatting. So I'll duplicate values. Now you can see that let me change that to a very thick red. Let's see. Okay, it's still the same thing. Yeah, so we have this red. You can see this showing red. Yes, this white, this red. So, and when you go down, you can see all these reds. They are showing you that they have duplicate values. Now Excel has a button that you can use to remove that. However, I will show you why I had to go through conditional formatting first. Now you click on data tab. On the data tab, you see the data tools. The one at the middle, this one is flash fill. This is to remove duplicates, and this data validation. So I'm going to click on remove duplicates and then immediately expand the selection so that it covers up everything. I click on remove duplicates. Now you highlight everything there, then you hit your OK. You can see that it has removed the duplicate values for me, leaving behind what we have. However, if you still scroll down, you see that you can still see some that are shaded red. This is because some values, for example, let me look for a value here. Let's look for this. So let me copy this, Control A, Control C, and let's find it and see if Excel is correct. So we're going to find that value. I paste it here and then I say find all. You can see that we're having two cells that are having the same value. However, let me shift this up. You can see on the column E here, column E, you can see that here is written 0.0. But once we go down to column, sorry, to the 136, the second one, you can see that it is showing that it is empty, but the same name, every other thing there is the same except for the salary on column E. So that is why it is marking it that. So what I'm going to do, remember in data analysis, let me close this. In data analysis, 0 is a number. So please, as much as possible, once you see 0, be skeptical about working with it or saying you want to fill it up or anything. So what I'll do, since I know these two values is actually 0 but was misrepresented as, sorry, is actually empty but was misrepresented as 0, so I'm going to filter out and take out the zeros. So once you filter on this, click on this, filter, I select zeros. I want to make sure that yes, I don't have zeros, I have empty values. So what I do is I highlight everything, and once I'm done with that highlight, I'll delete, oh sorry, highlight everything, and then I delete the entire row. Now that is done, I go and uncheck my filter. Once that is done, you can check through. You will see that you will no longer see any red color. It is still functional just in case you have an error, but then you can't see it anymore. So you can see that all the red values are already gone, all the red shadings are gone. So yes, this data, there are no more duplicate values. Now the next thing I will do is this. I usually love cleaning column after column, yes. So I don't jump columns and come back and all that. No, we do it one after the other. So we are done with the emp ID. Going to the name, there's something I would want to quickly jump on before we go to that column, and that is to count blanks. So let me first of all get out the views, yeah, the grid lines. So I'm going to count blanks. I'll just leave some space underneath. So count blank to see if there are blank cells. So the range is A2 to A242. That is the, okay, 241 rather. So that is, you can see it has highlighted the entire column A for us. So once I hit OK, you see that's entire column is 0. I highlight it down across, and you can see we have, this is 7, this is 11, and that is also, once I come there, I'll know what to do. So let's continue. Now, if you look at this column name, you see that on B10, you can see that there is a little space before the L. Also on the, sorry, let me increase the magnification. Yeah, so on the B12, B10, you can see that there is space before the L, and also on the B14, you can also see that there is space before the W. So what you are going to do is this: you go over here, you right click, and then you insert a new column. On this new column, I'm going to make use of the function called trim. You can use this alone, or you can use trim and clean in form of a nested syntax in case there are other things that you need to. So trim, and then I click on this column, I close it, sorry, that cell, I close it and hit enter. Now I auto fill down the entire column, and you can see that that linear has already been corrected. However, if you go back here and you try to delete this cell, you see that that other cell C is gone, because this cell C is referencing B2. So once B2 goes, you see that also C2 will go. So to solve that situation, you highlight everything. Sorry, that was too much. Okay. Sorry about that. So you highlight everything. Okay, let me use a faster method. I think that'll be better. Okay. All right. So I come down here, highlight everything. Yes, so it's highlighted to the top, and then you copy it while still on that same column. Please, you don't move from that column. You paste it on that column, and you will see paste options by the side here. You see this small paste option. You click on it, then you paste it as values. You can see. So paste as value. I paste it as value. Now being pasted as value, you can see that that entire column is no longer resting on B. You can see I'm clicking each and every one of them, and as you can see, it's no longer resting on B. So I can now go here and highlight everything here and then delete it. So yeah, let me shift cell left. So you can see, oh, that's not gonna work. Okay, so let me just delete it. Let me delete the entire thing. So delete. I can simply type name here. Yeah, that goes. So we can see that that is already set. We don't have any spaces before it anymore. Now let's look at gender. While we were down there initially at the base here, oh, sorry, yes, why we're having this issue is because I highlighted everything. So yeah, it will give us this error. So let me see if I can do away with that quickly. We delete entire column there, the entire column here. Okay. Oh, sorry. No, not the entire column. Yeah, you just do whatever you have to do to remove that. Okay, shift cell left. Let's see. All right, but it's not going to work. So yeah, I'll just leave it there. So let's continue. There's a way to clean that. So I'm just trying to, okay, that's it. It's gone. Now since we are doing data cleaning, let me not rush, so let's do it as it ought to be, in case you will have issues like that coming up. So what I did, I highlighted it and I pressed delete, so everything there went. Now on the gender column, you can see that we have about 7 cells that are empty. You see that down here under our account blank earlier on. Sorry, please. On this our account blank earlier on, you see that we have 7 cells that are empty. Now, if you have a text that is empty, what you do is this: you replace it with others. So what I'm going to do is this: I'm going to highlight the entire column. Then, sorry, that's why I had to use this the other time. Now, once you highlight everything, you go to data, you filter. I want to see only the blanks that I want to fill. So these are the blanks that I want to fill. So I fill it with others. So when you have a text with missing values, you fill it up with others. Note that when the missing values are much, you should consider dropping the column. Yes, you should consider dropping the columns. But however, when the missing columns are few, yes, you can consider filling it up with others. So since that is done, I'll go and clear that, and then we move to department. On the department, you can see we're having null. There is nothing like null. We always have others, so we are going to change this also to others. So where we see null, we are going to replace it with others. All right, so I click here. Now on this null, replace it with others. Now that is done, and I autofill down here. Yes, so I go back, clear my filter. Now on the salary column, on this column, this is value. Remember I said when you go down, rather, you will see that there are empty values, empty cells there. Yes, so let me try to go down. You can see 11 of them, and in comparison to the 241, it's not much, so we have to clean that up also. And for values, what you do is this: you replace it with the average. Yes, you replace it with the average. So I'm going to go by the side here on this cell that I saw an empty one on E35. I go on this side and I write equal to, then average of E2 to, oh sorry, I didn't type the average very well. Average, okay, E2 to E242 or 241 rather, I think 241. Then I close my bracket. It gives me that value. You can see the value there. Now, haven't gotten this value, you see that once I go here to do anything, it's going to affect this. So what I have to do, I'll first of all have to copy this, paste it on that place and paste as values, so that it changes to value. Now is on value mode. I can now go here now and filter to get the empty cells. I filter this out. I look for the ones with empty, that's blank. I look for the blanks, I feel okay. Then I go here, and yes, I can just simply go here, control copy, control paste. Let's see. Okay, now I haven't done that. I can now drag this down. Let's see if it works. And yes, perfectly, it did work. So now with this, I can delete this here. You see, this is still standing. So what I now have to do is I go back and clear my filter, and now if you go down that column, you will notice that we now have 0 down here, so there are no missing values anymore. However, let's continue with our data cleaning. I'm now on the date column. On this date column, you can see the inconsistency in the format that was used. Now to clean up this, I'm going to first of all create an empty column here, a column here. Now this empty column, I'll still name it start date. so as to create what I want. So I have start date. Now here I'm going to use the text function. So equal to text, open bracket, the value is this date, comma, double quotation mark, YYYY forward slash forward slash DD. That's the format I want, and I close my bracket and I hit enter. You see it has taking it to this format for me, and I want to fill down, and you see everything there has been changed to this format. You can see that. So what I'll do now is copy it, paste as values, so that it doesn't depend or rest on the F column. Now I can now go and delete the entire F column. Now that is done. And the FT, there is nothing to clean here. Employment type, obviously there's nothing to clean here also. Now on work location, you can see that on this work location we have remote. Then here we have Seattle, USA. Seattle is a state, so USA is a country. All these ones we have here also. This Wellington, New Zealand. So I want to remove the states leaving behind the country and the remote. So what I'm going to do is this: I'll highlight the entire column and I go to data tab. On the data tab, I click on these data tools, click on text to column because I want to split it. So I'll use a delimiter. A delimiter is a separator that I want to use. So looking at this data, this column here, there is a unique or there is a similar separator for them, and that is the comma. So I select the comma. I can uncheck the tab here. So I select the comma and you can see I click on finish. It's immediately shows you that this has been splitted. However, you can see that you have empty spaces here. These empty spaces, if you look at it, it corresponds to your remote. So what I'm going to do, first thing first, it's going to take me, you can use whatever method to achieve this, yes. So please, whatever method you can use to get the job done fast, fine. But for me, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to first of all remove this column. I remove this entire column. Let me say shift left. Yeah, I think that would be faster. Shift left. Okay, now once I shift left, this is now on it. So I'm going to filter down. Oh, there's still more to do anyway. So yeah, I'm going to filter first of all and replace the blanks with remotes. Remember, yeah, so the blanks that we had were remotes, they were not empty. So had it been they were empty, we would have replaced it with others, but since they were not empty, oh okay, we have this error here. So what I do, shift control down arrow key, delete. So that takes care of that. I hope there is none like that again. No. Okay, so that takes care of that. Now the next thing is this: I clear the filter, clear filter. However, notice that the USA has space before it. USA has space, India has space. So what I'm going to do, the same way, I'm going to write equal to trim, open bracket, then you click on this cell, you close it, and you hit enter, then you autofill. Once you autofill, you see that it has removed those spaces before the countries. So the next thing is you need to remove the references. So Control C, Control V, paste as values, and then I go here again the same way, highlight everything down, and I'm going to do delete it, delete shift cell. So that is done. Let me look down in case there's something to clean. Okay, I think obviously there's nothing more to clean. So yeah, that's done. And then finally, after you are done with this, because you don't want to see any other thing, I have to check, okay, this was work location, so I need to put that work location, and to keep in format, so let me get that format back. You click on home, you do this, and then yeah, that format is back up. So you don't want to see anything on your data set. So what you do is this: you go down, because remember you calculated count blank the other time. So yes, we are going to remove that entire calculation. We don't need it anymore. It has accomplished what we wanted. So yes, now looking at this data, you can see that everything that we have here is following the format that we want. If you followed me up to this point, I would like to enjoin you to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to leave a comment. This is a continuation of our data cleaning. Remember we had already cleaned the data set, and I also want to continue the data cleaning on this second data set. So yeah, I would start first of all with highlighting everything. What we are having is I have to highlight everything. So Control A, everything is highlighted. Then you go to conditional formatting, highlight cells rules. I want to see if there are duplicates. Okay, so let me see what those things are showing me. So yeah, we have some duplicate values here. So right here you can see McDonald here and also McDonald here. So you see that, and everything we have there is corresponding. So yeah, we have some duplicate values that we need to remove. So how we do that is, let's quickly go over to the data tab and then remove duplicates. Now yes, my data has headers, and then you click on this. Once you remove this, it has 3 duplicates. So yes, it has removed those duplicate values. All we have here are no longer duplicates. Yes, though Excel is showing it that way. So what we are going to do, we are going to clear all rows that we have. Yes, so we've removed the 3 duplicate values. Now on this date column, we know that yes, what we have here is correct. There is nothing to clean there. Let me increase this. Now if you have these hash values, what you do is you double click on this in between the 2 columns, and you see that it expands it automatically. Now the next thing I want to check is this client column. If you look at this client column, there is a value or a sentence or uh, something here that is inside bracket, and if you look at it, it looks like a shortcut. You see this xnas full colon, then amzn. Now for this, we can see that we have a common demarcator here, what we call delimiter. So we have a common delimiter here, which is the open brackets. So open brackets removes all these ones in brackets. That's the shortcuts. So what I'm going to do, you have to create a new column here. So you highlight and you create, insert a new column here. After inserting a new column, I will just go back to this, and then you click on the data tab. Yes, you click on the data tab, then text to column. Once you click on text to column, you make sure you are checked, your delimited is checked. Then you click on next, and now you uncheck tab and click on order, then specify an open bracket. You see that, and immediately I did that, you can see the data preview here showing you immediately that what you have there has been shifted to this side. So once you are done with that, you can see that yes, it has done what you want. You click OK. After clicking OK, you can see that that value has already been shifted here. So since this is here now, what I'll just have to do, I'll have to delete this entire column because I don't need it. Yes, however, let me check something. You can see there is an empty space after the name. So let's check this one also. You can see there are empty spaces after the name. We don't want that. So what you are going to do again, we are still going to create another empty column here, and here I will name this client. Sorry about that. So client, then I come here, I'm going to write equal to trim, then you open your bracket and you select the text and you close your bracket and you hit enter. Now you just autofill. Remember how I taught you how to autofill? You go down to the right hand side, the base button here. This cursor changes to a tick plus sign, and you double click or you drag down. Yes, either ways it is done. Now if you look at this, it is showing us the formula. So for any of these that you check, you see that the formula is there. If you go ahead and delete this column, let me do that. So you see, I'll go back and you delete this column. You see what you have is ref. What this ref stand is reference error, because it is referencing a cell. So to take care of that, what you have to do is this. You go over to this, you hold your shift control down arrow key to highlight everything. Once that is done, Control C to copy, then Control V to paste it. Once you've pasted, you now click on this paste option here by the right hand side, and then you paste as values. You see that values, you paste as values. Now let's go back and check. Okay, let me press escape. Now let's go back and check. You can see references are now gone. So it is now, and if you check, you don't have any space after those values anymore, or those sentences or strings anymore. So what you do, you now come here and delete this column. Now once you delete this column, you see your client has been fixed, so you see that there are no errors there again. Now let's go to the next column here where we have contact. On this contact column, you can see what we have. Let me expand this. You double click. All right, so you can see we have Bill Smith, and this Bill is in proper tense, but this, you can see the T and H having uppercase, and this one small case, uppercase, and all that. And also, if you look at it, there is a space between here where I just highlighted. You can see there is an empty space there. You can go and start doing it manually. And also look at this, Harley Fritz. There's also a space in between them. David, there's also space here, and all that. So to take care of this, what you do is this: you go here, you right click again, you create an empty column. So you insert an empty column. Then I'm going to write contact above here, because that's going to take our new contact. Then I'm going to use two functions here. This is what we call nested syntax. Yes, so I'm going to use trim open bracket proper open bracket, then I select the cell and I close my brackets. Remember, okay, there are two brackets there, and I hit enter. Now look at what we have. We have our Bill Smith, and once I autofill this, you can see everything there has been corrected. We now have this. Remember, if you delete this column, this is resting on it, so it wouldn't work. So what you have to do, you control copy, then you paste it, then you paste as values. Now it doesn't have the syntax anymore. At this point, you can now go and delete this from here. Now that contact column is now cleaned. The next thing I would want us to look at is this department. If you look closely, department is housing both the department and the region. So we want to split this into two. So what you do is this: you go over here, you right click and insert. Once you insert, you are going to name here, let's name here region. Okay, let's leave it for now, so let's just go on. So now I'm going to split this column department. So what you do is this: you go to your data tab. Once you are on the data tab, the next thing you do is text to column under the data tools. So you click on text to columns. The same way, delimited, go on. Now we are no longer going to use an open bracket. We are going to use the underscore, because that is what is common among all of them. That's the common delimiter there, and you can see a preview of what we just did here. So once that is set up, you click on finish, and you can see you now have your new region here. So let me name this region. So we have our region there. Now let me see this. Let's see. In case there are empty spaces, okay, no space, no space. Oh, I forgot to remove these spaces, so I'll just do this manually. Okay, no, I think it is centralized. So yeah, let me see. Okay, it's at the center, that's why. Yes, this is at the center, that's why the names are at the center. Yes, so that's correct. So similarly, this at the center. Now you can see that on this department, we've splitted the department to this and region. Now the next place is payment. You can see we have transfer, PayPal, and all that. Remember what I told us in the last file, that I said once you have strings are text. Yes, once you have that, what you do is you fill it up with others. And remember, there is a percentage of empty values you have to fill. If it is above a particular value, a particular percentage, you can't fill it up with others again. So what you are going to do, I'll quickly go over here and press Ctrl T, which changes it to a table. Or okay, let me cancel this, let me not use that. So let's use data, then I go over to filter, and then it will do the same thing. So yeah, now I want to filter out on that column and leave only the blanks, and I click OK. Now on these blanks, oh, you can see they are just two, so I fill it with others, and then this also with others, and I go and clear my formatting. Now you can see that we have our two empty cells being filled up with others, and that is already okay. Now let us move on to the revenue column. And remember, I told you what you have to do is to get the average and fill up the average here. Now notice something that happens on I5 here. I5 here is depending on cell H5 and G5, and you can see that cell G5 is having no value. That is why you are having this division error. So once cells G5 has a value, you will see that this division error will automatically go. So to do this, to achieve this, what I'm going to do is this. Beside it here, outside here, I'm going to write equal to average. I want to find the average of this entire column. I want to fill it up with the average. So the empty values are going to be filled up with average. So that is selected and I hit enter. Now let us see our average that we have. Okay, we have $4,974. So now similarly, I'm going to copy, paste, and then paste as values. And remember how we fill it up again. So I go back here, control T to make it a table. Or no, I don't want a table, so let's go back. So here I just go over to data and then filter, and I'm going to filter out the empty. Okay, let me scroll down. Okay, the blanks. Let's see, we have blanks, and yes. So oh, sorry, I didn't. Okay, so I have to go back. Sorry, I didn't copy this. Control copy. Okay, sorry. All right, let me paste it here. Control paste. Yes. So filter out and select the blank. Now if you select the blank, you notice that the blanks are here. So what you are going to do is you are still going to do your control copy and then you paste. Then after you are done with that, all you have to do is autofill down the column here. And when this is all done, you go back and clear your filter. Yes, you go back and clear your filter. If you followed me to this point, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and yes, leave a comment, ask your questions. I'm available to answer all questions that you may have. So once you are done with that, what you do next is you have to delete these values here. Now with this, you can see that all those division error that we had then, they are already gone. It has been taken care of, and right now what we have is a very clean data set for us to work with. Yes, I had to do two videos to show you how to do data cleaning. So one way does not take care of it all. Anyhow you can do to get your data cleaned up is what you have to do, is what you need to do. So there's no one way covers it all. That was why I had to use two videos to explain, two sheets rather, to explain what we've done. So thank you very much and look forward to the next video that I have coming up. Thank you.